Hi, I'm Sean.
Hi, this is Renee. You're watching Hope in Crisis. It's a new series of YouTube videos and podcasts, and we're going to talk about information technologies and how it can help us to bring hope in crisis. To begin with, we want to talk about contact tracing. So first of all, I think it's really important to talk about what contact tracing is and its value or how it's going to contribute to the stop of the outbreak.
Contact tracing is this idea that, let's say I had the virus. What you want to be able to do is to isolate me and everybody that I came in contact with.
Right.
Okay? And you want to do it as fast as possible, because if you can get it before those 2 days, then essentially the virus can't spread.
Right.
So if you look at countries like Taiwan that managed to contain the virus, they did it sort of by, of course, closing the borders, because that stops new virus coming in, and then trying to isolate people that have symptoms and then trace all around them as fast as possible. Philosophically, I'm totally against contact tracing. Yeah.
Because?
It's extremely invasive to people's privacy. So the difference between Taiwan and other countries, contact tracing is quite interesting. Okay, so in Taiwan, what they would do would be to go to the phone company and pull all of your phone records. So they'll tell you they're going to do this, and they'll pull the records from the base station. So cell phone has these base station networks. You always register whenever you move around with the phone. You're registered. So there's a map of where you've been, and they can essentially use that information to try to do contact tracing. They tell you they're going to do it. Okay? In my country, they surveil you without telling you. They wouldn't even need a warrant. Taiwan's model was very interesting because A, it was super fast. Like, it was minimally invasive because they said, hey, we're just going to trace the people that you were in contact with. And the moment you can get this contact tracing and the testing going really fast, you can deal with the intervention side. Right? So like when you have a virus, what do? And then, I mean, did you hear about what Apple and Google?
Yeah, I was going to talk about it. So I'm a fan of Bluetooth and beacon technology. I was really happy that Google and Apple are working for the first time together, and then they're using beacons and Bluetooth to collect location data. And then what I learned from public information is that your information never leaves your phone.
I just want to emphasize that that tech is powerful. It's so powerful. It's a double-edged sword. Like, it has pros and cons. And one of the mistakes that I think a lot of tech people like myself make is we only look at what could go right.
Side.
Exactly. Right? And so isn't this great? Two of the tech companies that make all the phones that we use are getting together to help solve COVID. Okay, that's the optimistic Silicon Valley story. Now the skeptical, pessimistic story is, wait a second, the two monopolistic companies that have an absolute control over the most important, like our second brain, are ganging up with the US government, okay, to surveil and monitor us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay? And the problem with surveillance and monitoring is that it's like a one-way ratchet. So once the government has these superpowers, they don't let it go. They don't let it go.
So that leads to the issue of centralization. And
they're doing it decentralized. It's pretty good. Okay? But it's also like a Trojan horse. Like it's like you get in the front door. Hey, we're just gonna monitor these things. Okay? We're just gonna track this for COVID.
And then you're opening a door for indefinite possibilities.
That's what happens. Like there's a saying in English, like, you give somebody an inch, they take a mile. Okay, and so you give the government a little bit of extra power, and then, I mean, because the people that are in government are basically like sociopaths for power. Okay, and now you're connecting them to
the most
big
powerful.
tech companies, which are also sociopathic for power, right? And they reinforce each other. And I mean, Apple was like the last holdout. Like Facebook's evil, Google's evil. I mean, they're just like sucking, you know, they're like data sucking vampires, right? And Apple was really trying to market this privacy and what's going on here. And so now you have them getting together. And what our government always wanted was a backdoor into these systems so they could track people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're getting it. I mean, Apple and Google are voluntarily making the backdoor.
Right.
So now they can track us everywhere we go. So that's like the civil liberties part that really concerns me. And the technical part I'm also concerned about.
And I was also wondering, do you think blockchain can help? In the sense that it's decentralized and that it's giving power back to users.
Yes. So what blockchain allows you to do is to exchange something of value without having to go through a third party.
Right.
Okay, so if we had cash, right, like paper money,
Right.
I can give you paper money, okay, and it's just
Transaction.
I just give it to you. Okay. Digital money, I have to put it through the bank, the banking system.
Yeah.
Okay, and the banking system then would say, oh, well, that's risky, or something is not quite right about that, and they can stop it. But if you actually look at what the banking system is doing, they're using the banking system to censor people, to essentially do the government policies that they want. For example, there was people that work in different industries that some people in Congress and Senate don't like. People that work in the adult film industry, people that work in marijuana, the pot industry, which is legal in many
China
countries.
is doing that too. Because a few months ago, I think in late 2019, there was a ban on pets in Beijing.
Pets.
Yeah, no big dogs. I mean, no medium dogs.
What
They
was
define medium dogs as big dogs, and then
Okay.
there's no way you can have a medium or large dog in your apartment.
Okay.
And then, so you have to make sure that you give away your pets.
What were they concerned about with pets?
I'm not sure. And then, if you're trying to shush your dog at home, it doesn't work because you're going to buy dog food anyway, right? And then people use WeChat to pay for pet supply, so they are going to.
Oh, they would catch you that way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It totally makes sense that the government is tracing money to check out what you're doing or your home population.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective is always that the people deserve privacy, the government does not. Like, they should be open and transparent, and we have the right to privacy. And so that's why surveilling the money is so disconcerting to me. That's why sort of Apple and Google doing contact tracing is so disconcerting to me. Because I think that at any given time, I have many thoughts in my head. And if you could see all the thoughts in my head, you'd probably be like, man, this guy's crazy. We should talk about something.
That would be interesting.
It would be really scary, right? And what makes us human is that we have these flaws, we have these fantasies, we have these dreams, and some are healthy and some are not.
Right.
Right? And if you can monitor every single thing that I'm thinking,
I mean, what if someone really positive and someone very, very idealistic is just trying to stop the outbreak?
Yeah.
And this person
Back to
is
that.
not interested
This is
in our fantasies or anything personal.
Yeah.
Is it possible someone can build an app for the general good?
The problem with software is it gives you exponential power. Okay, so let's do contact tracing the Taiwanese government way. Okay, again, they find that I have a virus. They have to get me. Okay, so they'll come pick me up. Okay, and then they have to trace each person off of me. Okay, it's difficult, right? And but they can do it extremely fast. Okay, and you can say, oh, well, it's really expensive. Can we make this cheaper? Can we put it in software? And then can we have this going all the time, everybody monitoring? Okay, and yes, you can. But now you get into, really quickly, you get into this, well, can we use this to track who has pets that are not supposed to have pets? Right? And the government, they always do this. It always goes there. There's that saying, if there's one thing that we know about history is that people never remember what we did about history. Right?
It keeps repeating itself.
It keeps repeating itself.
Yeah. Or is there a way for people to track themselves autonomously?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So if government surveilling people is bad,
Yeah.
how about we do that
I like
on
that.
our own?
Yeah.
Because also a few months ago or a few weeks ago, I remember there was a surgeon who's advocating for this idea on TV that you should keep a journal of who you meet today.
Okay.
And then if 20 days later, someone close to you is test positive, then you'll be able to give people your journal and then help people to investigate faster.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Most people cannot keep a journal, like consistently who you saw, who you went, like where you went, what was your location, what time. So that's a place technology could really help. Okay? And then, so like what you do want the government to be able to do is to monitor at like a higher level the spread of the virus, right? And like it would be really nice if the government could know that, like, let's say like Nandang area where our office is, that area, there's a number of people that are getting sick. So like before you get COVID, like if an area is starting to get more and more COVID,
get there.
Yeah, like because I mean the virus is invisible, right? Obviously, right? And so
I think the Taiwan government tried to do this.
Yeah.
It built a system that shows you traffic.
Okay.
So if a place has heavy traffic, then don't go there because you're not sure who's gonna be there and then how risky those people are.
Yeah.
So I think that's a way. I mean, they're not telling you that these people they carry the disease, but they're telling you that it's very hard to keep social distancing over there. So if
I like that approach because
preventive.
it's it can give people an idea, like, hey, you probably shouldn't go there, the density is too high.
Right.
It's low tech, right?
It
They
is.
already have these sensors that know what's going on.
Yeah.
There's no privacy issues because they're just sort of telling you,
Street
hey,
view
this
cameras.
area. I think that's pretty cool. So my company, we've been thinking about, okay, how can we help with that side? If Apple and Google and the big tech companies are trying to do the intervention, could we help with the prevention? So we had this idea that if you could pool data at the community level, so almost like if you had a map and you drop like a grid over the whole map and you just say, hey, in this one pixel, let's say the pixel is like 0.5 kilometers, then everybody could share data into that pixel. And then that data being shared can be anonymous. You don't need location because it's just that little pixel. Like this street, this building. And then you could know, hey, are people reporting symptoms in this place? You could also know, this is not a problem in Taiwan, but in the US, there's this huge controversy around masks. Like, and it's become political. So like if you wear masks, then you're the government's slave, right? Like, so a lot of people that are on this side, they're like, fuck you, I'm not gonna wear masks, right? Don't come with me, okay? And then the people on this side are like, you're killing me, like, put the mask on, right? So it's like, it's so horrible that the world like can no longer look at science as anything other than political. But that's the reality.
People are being too bipolar.
Oh, it's crazy. It's just crazy. It's so crazy, right?
Like you have to pick an end.
And like if you don't pick it, like if you try to stay in the middle, then they kill you too. It's like
because you're in neither of the game. So you're target of both games.
So like if I say, I don't have an opinion, then my left friends will be like, oh, well then you're on the right. And then my right friends will be like, oh, well you're on the left. Like, you cannot like
survive.
There's no middle.
Right. I think that social media is the reason why people are so polarized. Because it's asking you to vote on every issue, and then there's only yes or no. There's not a third option or more options for you to have a say on a specific issue. You can only choose if you like it or you don't like it. Right. But,
and then even not liking it is like, okay, no, you didn't like that? Like you didn't like my post? Like, right. It's just horrible. It's horrible. Yeah. So I think the way out is on the prevention side, do what Taiwan did, super fast, super surgical, contact tracing, and then could we build up some kind of citizen volunteer data at a kind of a pixel level, so you can track symptoms and behaviors like you track the weather. Like what I would like to be able to do is to track pandemics, use a combination of the government telling you where things are and people telling, hey, I have some symptoms. And so I think as long as people feel that they won't be tracked, they're willing to share. Yeah.
So is your tool or the system online? Is it
soon?
Okay.
So we finished it, and Apple said no. They blocked us.
Why?
The reason they give is, at first pass, it makes sense. They say, well, only government, healthcare, NGO can put out information in a pandemic. Okay, like so they say, you're just a startup, you don't know anything about this, why are you trying to put out information? Okay? So that sounds okay. I mean, like, I'll be like, yeah, that's probably true, I don't want fake news, I don't want misinformation.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay? But then, it's like, wait a second, the WHO? Like you want a government, like an NGO to do this?
Right.
Like, weren't these the people that told us, no, it's not?
Or the other way around is that you can start an NGO.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of paperwork, but.
So people tried that, and they basically still blocked them because they said that you have no history.
Oh. Okay.
You are not a recognized institution, so you can't do that. And I mean, even, I don't know if you know this, but YouTube took down all the videos. If any video goes up against what the WHO says, YouTube takes it down.
I didn't know.
Yeah. YouTube even paid, YouTube the company paid YouTubers to go make videos based on WHO advice. YouTube is blocking all of this stuff. So if you go against what WHO says, they take you down. Okay, now,
are we going to be taken down?
This thing. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be a campaign.
Yeah, that probably means when they start taking you down, you know you're doing something right.
Yeah. That's a label you can wear really proudly.
Yes. So in English, where I was getting my information from was following scientists, just following them on Twitter, and then reading stuff. After about a month of that, I got a pretty good sense of what was going on. Okay, and I could figure out pretty quickly that my CDC, my president, WHO, all lying to us. Right? They're completely lying to us. Right? Masks work. You should social distance. The lockdown should be much stronger, much like 6 weeks probably, super fierce lockdown. Not this like, if you want, you can go to the grocery store, you can get eggs, but do it and come back. It's like, okay, right? So it's like this, the US did sort of the worst of everything. And that's all blocked now. Like literally, if you go against policy on COVID policy on social media, they'll block.
So the truth is covered.
Yeah. It is, and that's like deeply scary to me. I mean, the whole promise of the web was that from two people to the planet, we're going to solve these kind of problems together. So it stopped. So Apple blocked us, and luckily, we're going to have a pilot very soon with UC Berkeley.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So they're trying to figure out, okay, how do you reopen a campus?
So they were going to launch the app for you?
The actual technical mechanics, we'll figure it out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but at least now we have a partner that's willing to say, yeah, this is interesting, let's try it.
Yeah.
So it's a different idea. It's like, can citizens pull data together, and then from these data pools, can we figure out what's going on? And that doesn't replace the contact tracing. It's like together.
I know.
You need them both.
Complementary.
Yeah.
That sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to be one of the first to use it.
Well, I mean, Taiwan, you don't need it right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I was thinking but I want to stay healthy, so I hope that I don't have anything to share.
So beyond COVID, I hope this can work for all sorts of, flus and public health issues. That it could be a new model where you have citizens volunteering information, and then the government sort of connecting like in that middle, and people can get healthy together. Yeah, I think like the more we can come back to the community level, like these small groups of people that help each other, the better. Yeah.
I agree. So I know that it sounded pessimistic to know that two technology giants are using technology to collect data and then potentially violating our privacy, and they're sharing the data with the government. But you don't know who may be listening to our podcast. Maybe it's Audrey Tang, or maybe it's some other tech genius.
Yeah.
We hope that one of them may be inspired and then come up with a new technology to help with a more effective solution.
There is a lot of hope.
Yes.
Like, and I think that the more we can empower people, like the people, like humans, us, like not these big tech companies, not these phones, but the more you can empower people, the better we can get. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is why we're going to launch this new channel, Hope in Crisis. We'll bring hope to people in crisis.
Yeah. Hope you like the first one.
Yeah, stay tuned.